Welcome back, guys, to more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time, we seem to have found ourselves a new lead. Well, not a new lead, but a new case about a samurai actor who's on trial. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. William Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. William Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer, in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well, I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Yeah, Gumshoe! Okay. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain what the guide map here. To understand the case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio. See? Here's the area's employee, as you can tell. The actor did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. Mistake. Sorry. This is the main gate to the studio. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. From the security station, there is a gate, see? Past there are the studios. Here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, William Powers, and a young woman with the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employees area until noon. After lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform action scenes. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death, 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen again? Skip it. I understand it. I think I could probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. That question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Sup, Oldbag? What's your name? Why aren't you a handsome young fellow? I'm afraid I'm a wee bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for your embarrassment. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Edward was a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma. Oh, you know we've been named Young Bag. You know the kids make fun of me. Believe it? I used to be captain of an old chess team. Objection! Objection. I object to the witness talking to us. Objections abstained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I'm just getting to the good part, dearie. So, is that actually her name? Oh, we don't even get her name yet. Perhaps we can get the testimony. Now the witness was stationed at the main gate on that day. The murder. Yes, sir, yeah, it was. To get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by, you know, your staff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. Sure is one hell of an old bag. Did I tell you guys I got freaking awesome Joy-Cons now? They're Hori pads? Okay, I just wanted to say that because I'm probably going to forget. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through there since that morning. Well, I had some errands to run that morning. Anyways, it was one when I got to the guard station. I was there at the main gate until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked... It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. That's odd. So you saw Mr. Powers. That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, Sonny? Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out our secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. Let me get this straight, Oldbag, or Miss Oldbag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you were talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai Defender of Neo Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course. Didn't your mommy teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone could plainly see that Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is a Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this courtroom is accusing you of that, witness. Yeah, he's happy because he's old. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is William Powers, do you? No, the old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the time. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyways, I showed that photo to the young detective. He said, "This isn't any good as evidence, pal." He didn't even give it a second look. How old Windbag has left even Edward speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof then. Demand a setting. I never say anything. I don't mean mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props, leaving a big mess. Apparently, he sprained an ankle pretty bad. Now look at this picture. As you can see, he's dragging his leg. See, clear as day. Now that's how I knew. So he said it had to be him. Maybe hiding something. My guess would be here is. My guess would be this thing because he broke a prop. Sure did. His own. Yeah, luckily I was. So it was broken. Sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Ankle bad sprain? Not so bad that he couldn't walk. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus than that. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked in. Dragging his foot? Okay. Are you absolutely sure? Let's look at a picture. So he was walking strangely because he was injured. It does look like he was dragging his foot. See? And you can't trust me, whippersnapper. Okay. trip and fall. Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Power sprained his ankle. I helped him make it better for him, of course. You helped him make it better? I kissed it. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant? Oh, she was cleaning backdrops, I think. She didn't know about the power thing. I think we heard enough. Where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking through. Anyway, that's not important. Yeah. Sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that the photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. William Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if anyone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility too. Mind you, a man's life is on the line. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. True, the only person I saw go to the stadium before then was William Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Wrong! Could I bring up the sewer gate? Can I bring that up at all? Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone else into the studio had to pass by the gate. That's right, Sonny. Let them have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy! Old Windbag sure has balls. Or, well, you know what I mean. Old Windbag has a way of skipping over important details as well. Or, for that matter, always forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before 1? Why, everyone else was in the employees area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could come in. Not to mention, if I had, I would have seen them. The only person I saw go to the studio then was William Powers. But absolutely sure. Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking past by at all. No one suspicious looking. Yeah, that is true. I do want to say... This work? I can't bring up the gate, cause like the gate said like a child could go through. I want to say that. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. about before you got to the guard station? How do you know that? Didn't I just explain I gave donuts to the young detective? And then, after some rubbish about being a secret pal, he told me everything. Okay. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studio. Yep. So anybody passes by there, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't have your head from a hole in the ground. Right, anyways. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security camera data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. Oh, really? Cool. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that it's on the bags, 2 photo p.m. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th. Really sunny. Actually, I knew that too. The problem is there's a bit of an issue. At the end where it said photo number 2, the computer only held data for 1 photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't the photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Oh! Order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that means what I want to ask the witness. Oh my god. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. And there was only 1 data from one of those photos. Who could have erased the data from the other photo? Only 1? Someone with access the security lady yourself. Me, you watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was William Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these faggot new computer thing. Oh, edgy boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper. Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes, I suppose that could put it that way. They're all like, I see. Testimony, please. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos, record them on the security computer, and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking. You see, come to think of it, now I remember throwing out 1 photo that day. This Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it. Right, anyways. Well, I say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Yeah, I kind of did too. Exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at the faces for the most part. This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Well, who's in the heck was in that photo? You were right. A fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboy. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They were always thinking about one was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain in the employees area.
The grate has been loose for a while. At least outside. Well, that's where they come from. The drain comes in through the. They come in through the drain. I told you they were freaks, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. Kids.
So on the photo that you raised, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? That changes everything, though. Because think about it. Order. Let me guess. You saw two people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was a steel samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be about for 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes. Well, we see his type every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not possible. I mean, impossible for a young boy to be able to samurai. Impossible, I think it's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I want the defense of the prosecution to consider the new information and know for getting vital information this time. Mr. Powers. Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping. Honest. No one else was a Steel Samurai in the security photo. How should I know? Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it. Really? What? You just should have taken care of that stuff. I wasn't deleting anything. I was just trying to see if I could text someone back, but they're asleep. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick, what are we gonna do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right, and it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sign like that. Pearl will now reconvene the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? Prosecution thoughts on it are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a 10-year-old boy of roughly age of 10. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed the crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright's thoughts. The defense disagree with the prosecution claim. There is another person who could have committed the crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear what you have in mind. Be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great. As if the stakes weren't higher. The 2nd grade boy. The grade school boy. Why isn't anyone saying anything? Bah! Are you seriously suggesting a boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran actor star with spear. For one thing, the murderer's weapon was the Steel Samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him? Maybe that's the dumb move on my part. Maybe? Maybe? How about an absolutely, Nick? Wait, no. For once. One more chance, please. Very well, though. Well, it was a security lady, Wendy Oldbag, who, you know, I was looking at the picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning injury. Maybe because they've been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What, whippersnapper? Order, order. Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you. Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the samurai's costume. Okay, I'm back. This slipped into Studio 1, seeing the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai's costume? Simply, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. She was in the costume, she could point the figure at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent detective. Reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yes, Wright. Here. Sherlock Holmes 2. Actually, if you know from whenever I tried doing the Ace Attorney Chronicles, there is a character in that game, like Sherlock. That's odd. Isn't that the where Edward pronouns? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edward, does the prosecution have an opinion on the matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objection this time. What? What is that supposed to mean? So you all think I did it? Is that it? If you don't just stand there, do something. What's my move? The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers the suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's action on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forgot that Mr. Powers lacked a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Oldbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? That boy. The one whose photo I erased. It's only his grade schooler, though. As you said, 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could have pinned my old man in 10 seconds tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy's not the killer. What? How could you be so sure? Oh, or is it because be nice to the kids and mean to your elders, whippersnapper? Yeah, proof. Proof? Indeed. Let's see the proof, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, the murder weapon was a samurai spear. This very spear is shown here in this photo. How could this boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? Merv. This Oldbag was speechless. This had got to be the first. Hey, buddy, got a quarter? Very well. This court will suspect proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness. Miss Wendy was her name. Something Oldbag, Your Honor. When the prosecution will look further into this Oldbag before we continue, that is all. This court is adjourned. Let's go! Wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. I'm talking. Great, stop the presses. The Oldbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what is this about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. Ugh! My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were something or other people at the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studio that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them off scot-free. Yeah. Why did they want you to? So you were told not to talk. It's right by the studio and the big TV wigs, no less. Why did I not hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. Who were these people? Well, the director and producers for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scenes without a director? Of course! Well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There's a Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guard map, there it is. You could go through this. You can go left, the path where the monkey has fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue? Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on that day. The question. The director and the producers and some bigwigs were all present. And yet, as we stand, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about the other people who have been told off. I understand, Your Honor. The proceedings ends today in the trial of Will Powers. As a court is adjourned. Hopefully. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Aw, really? It's nothing. Grin. Or should I? Alright, well, next time we'll go and stop them. Or find out who they are. See you later.